It's this. Okay, so like I said earlier, we have one lesson to add on. So these notes right here are the only notes we have to do. But it's going to take us a couple of days to do them because we will actually only get through the first page today. This is a little nitpicky, and you need to be very careful with certain things. So we have to talk about law of sines and cosines. So today, this whole page, this is only law of sines. That's all we're going to get to today. You are going to have to memorize this formula only. I will give you the formula for law of cosines because it's a little more difficult. This is the formula for law of cosines. Okay? So I'm giving you this one. The law of sines is not that hard. So you don't have to write this down. We'll get to this tomorrow. But law of sines, this is what it looks like. Okay? So write this down with me. If you plug this in Google or something and you typed in law of sines, this is what you would see. Write this down. Hey, Blake, will you open the door when you get done? Will you just open it, the door? Yeah, because the air's not working. It, lets some cool air in. Okay, so this is the formal law of sines. Take them out, please. This is it. This is formula of law of sines. However, you won't ever use 3 at a time like you see here. You'll only use 2, and it'll look like this. So when you actually use it, this is what it'll look like. You'll have sine, and then in parentheses you're going to have an angle divided by a side. Sine, in parentheses, an angle divided by a side. Then you're going to set it equal to the same exact thing. Sine, right beside an angle, divided by a side. Can y'all see that? My blue isn't very bright. Okay, here's when we know when to use law of sines. When we use SOHCAHTOA, what kind of triangle does it have to be? A right triangle for SOHCAHTOA. Do you see a right triangle right here? So that's when you use law of sines and cosines to find missing pieces. Because we can't use SOHCAHTOA because it's not a right triangle. So you know to use law of sines if there's no 90-degree angle. When there's no 90-degree angle. Carson, Bert, you writing this down with us? Okay. You also know to use it when you either have angle, side. Do y'all remember that? Angle, side, or angle, side, angle. However, on your test, I'm going to tell you which law to use. Okay, I will tell you use law of sines or use law of cosines. So that makes this part a little bit easier. Okay, here's how we're going to start these problems. The whole point is to solve for missing pieces of the triangle when there's no right angle. Okay, if you're a big writer, if you write big, I would try to condense it a little bit because it's going to take up a little bit of space, okay? All right, so you always have to have 2 sides and 2 angles. So I want you to go circle the side. Circle 30. 30 is going to go with the angle that's across from it. So what angle is across from side 30? 45. So those 2 go together. What is the other side? It's X. So that's a side. So what angle does it go with? So draw an arrow to 74. Here's how you set up your proportion. That's what we're doing. We're going to set up a proportion and cross multiply. Your angle always goes beside sine. Sine, angle divided by a side. So it doesn't matter which one you start with. I'll start with 45. So sine of 45. Its side always goes underneath it. So what goes underneath sine of 45? 30. Equals, what's the other angle we're using? Sine of 74 divided by, what's its side? X. So that's how you set it up. Now you just have to solve for x. Okay, so that's it when it comes to setting up the equation. Now we are going to cross multiply to solve, just like we did in chapter 7. So your x goes up in front of sine 45, so it's going to look like this. X sine of 45 equals what? And I'll put 30 in front of it. 30 sine of 74. Okay, remember our whole goal is to solve for what? This x. I want it by itself. So right now, which operation is in between the x and sine? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, what? Multiplication. What's the opposite of that? Division. So to get x by itself, we have to divide both sides by sine of 45. Divide by sine of 45. So this cancels. We're almost there. We're almost done with this one. This cancels, and when you plug this in your calculator, it's going to give you the right answer. Divide both of them because it cancels it out. Okay? So try to plug that in your calculator. Round it to one place. Did you get the same thing? Okay, now watch this. Did you get that? Okay, watch this. Why'd I get two separate answers? Right, I didn't. So if on your test you don't close your parentheses, are you going to get the right answer? No. You have to close this parentheses right here. It's so crucial. Okay? That's it. That's law of sines. So your answer, what was our answer? 30.78. So 40. So can I round it to 40.8? Not bad, right? It's not terrible. Like, we can do that. It's doable. Okay, so let's go to number 2 and let's do the same thing. Circle your sides. Circle your sides. What's one side? 28. And it goes with? What's another side? And it goes with? Look, you're halfway there. So now your angle goes beside sine. So you'll have sine of 58. It doesn't matter which one goes first. Sine of 58 divided by what? Good. It goes with 24. Sine of x divided by 28. Okay, now stop. What? Who said that? Jake, was that you? That was hilarious. Jake, did you see me over spring break? I saw you. You didn't even know it.
I saw you at the Y.
Oh, you did? Yeah, I was at the Y a lot. Zap and Pan and Kalira. I was sitting like right there, and I was like, that's my student.
So you heard my crazy my family?
I mean, my family was there too, so. Okay, what's the difference in this setup and that setup? There's something significant. Go ahead. What were you going to say? The X is on the top. And what always goes on top? Angle. When we're solving for an angle, we always have to do something different on our calculator. What is it? Inverse. Inverse. Yes, good job. So, when you see X in the angle spot, you're going to have to use inverse. And this gets a little muddy. It's not hard, you just have to be careful. So, let's do this very slowly so we don't mess anything up. Okay, let's cross multiply. So your 28 goes up in front of sine, so you're going to have 28 sine of 58 equals 24 sine of x. Now your sine and your angle always have to stick together. Okay, they're like peanut butter and jelly. They're always good together, okay? So, I want to get this whole thing by itself. This whole thing. So who do I need to divide over? 24. So divide by 24. This cancels. So, what we have left is we have sine of x equals all of this stuff. Okay, so let's go to our calculator. Here it is. It's over there on the side. Okay, I want you to plug in this to your calculator and nothing else. 28 sine of 58 divided by 24. Plug that in your calculator. Did you get that? Okay, what you just did is you found all of this. So all of this, I'm just going to write answer because I don't want to round that. That is your answer. That's your answer. I'm just writing answer. You'll see. Now, how do I break the sine and the x? I have to take the inverse. Here's the easiest way to do it because you don't want to write all that down and type it all back in. So press second sine, and then we want to make our calculator take that piece and put it right here. So what you do is you press second, and then down here on the negative button, you press that, and it puts your answer right there. And then you press enter. So you don't have to retype it. You just press second answer, and it takes your answer and puts it there. Yes?
We need to close the parentheses on the
You don't have to, but you can. So that is your answer. We're going to do another one.
No,
Oh.
I'm okay. So
Did you get the same thing?
yes, but what did you do when you typed
Press second, sine, second, answer. And it takes your last right here.
that?
Oh man. Okay, that one. Oh, press second again. Press second. And then answer. Equals. What it does is it takes your last answer and plugs it in there. So you don't have to retype it. Did y'all know that about your calculator? It's pretty cool, huh? So what was our answer rounded to 1/10?
81.6. Oh, if you don't round it,
It doesn't. Okay? That's it. We just have to practice. Okay? So, let's go to number 3 because there's something we haven't done yet, but it's not hard. Okay? Circle your outsides. We have this 8. What's the 8 go with? 54. And then here's the x. But there's nothing there. How do we find it? Say it.
80 minus 54 minus 50.
Yeah. Look, you know these two angles, right? That's the only one missing. How many degrees are in a triangle? So in your calculator, 180 minus 37 minus 54, that tells you your angle measure is 89. So now you just set it up like normal. Can you try it? Can you try this one? Thank you. Your answer should be 9.9. And then I also want you to try number 4, and your answer should be 6.2. Okay, I want you to try both of those. And those are what your answers should be.
You said it doesn't matter where you sound.